Damn. Damn.
That's cold, but true. Cold but true.
All right, we're back.
You're in a good position.
Ah, we're back. I'm just messing with you.
Nah, you're better.
I love this guy. All right, so
Where were
you said Justice League was the worst Superman.
No, Batman v
Batman
Superman.
Sorry, Batman vs Superman.
So Batman v Superman, for a lot of the reasons that were already
You're on the Lex
previously
Luthor
brought up
things, and I agree with this.
Exactly. So with the Lex Luthor, the thing about this, we've talked about this on the Marvel show before. Villains are very important because your villains can like help establish like the motivation for heroes. They help bring like more drama to the film, and they help bring up attention. But the problem with it is that the Lex Luthor we got there was kind of a fucking joke. Like I wouldn't even mind Jesse Eisenberg because Jesse Eisenberg is a fucking amazing actor, but it was like his portrayal of Lex Luthor was just so poorly done.
Wait, I have a
Like, the way
question
he
for you.
tried-
Though. I do have a question.
Go ahead.
I kind of enjoyed it, but it was very rigid.
Well, my question
again, I
for
don't
you,
think that was his fault.
Johnny. You're talking about villains right now.
I mean, he plays
I
a
just
lot of
want to
his
bring up
characters,
a
though, like,
point,
very,
just a small point. The Marvel Universe.
Mhm.
They've had very weak villains throughout 90%
Oh,
of their films.
this is true, but you just brought up. Remember a minute ago, what's my favorite film?
Yeah.
Black Panther, because Killmonger was fucking amazing.
Yes.
Killmonger was a good
Because he
villain.
was the villain who was damn near like, shit, is he a villain?
Yeah.
And so that's part of the reason why it's one of my favorite
And he was
films.
a villain in Iron Man too.
Huh? They made Iron Man 2?
Iron Man 2 is a bad
You remember,
movie.
that's like the bottom of my Marvel list.
Iron Man 2 is so bad.
Iron Man
It is
2
terrible.
Iron Man 2
It is
so bad.
terrible.
Yeah.
I like when you have to name the villain. We'll get there. All right, so moving back towards you.
Uh-oh.
So we did 7. What's your 6?
Wait, we're going to go through
Well, we're
all
gonna
of them?
put Superman
We'll
4
go through
because I
all
don't
of them,
fucking remember it, and it was clearly not memorable.
Yeah,
All right, what's your best?
Yeah,
What's
can we
your
do
best?
worse? Yeah.
Let's go with your
Okay.
best. Actually, no, not. Let's go with Johnny's best.
Best.
Shit.
Oh,
Wait, can we just go back to that and give me a minute to think about it?
I'm gonna give you right now.
You son of a
You
bitch. You son of a
believe.
bitch. All right. Okay. So, what is the best Superman film?
Did you?
Damn. All right. Okay. You know what? Again, I'm on the spot. I'm just going to go with this really quickly because I know it's none of the real current stuff for me. I'm going to go with the original Superman because I love the tagline. You would believe a man can fly. And the thing about this, I just remember watching that as a child, like, you know, and I'm being like, fuck, this is Superman. And till this day, I still remember that saving the helicopter scene. Where it's like he flew up and saved the helicopter. He's a hero.
You got me.
And who's got you?
Exactly.
Yes.
And also for that time, for the technology they had, I mean, who could imagine that you could have made a man like look like he was catching a woman,
Exactly.
and also catch. I mean, that must have took it like months to film.
And just the message of
I'd say
hope
it took a
too
day,
that it has, you know, like
Exactly.
it really was just like
It took a day?
unabashedly cheerful,
Only a day?
hopeful,
Yeah.
Yeah, he
you
was
know,
really wise.
inspiring.
So wait, is
And
that
they-
your favorite Superman film?
It's tied with Man of Steel.
But wait.
Superman also the original one.
What's your
Yeah.
favorite?
Superman 3. No, Man of Steel.
I'm the
What you-
tiebreaker here.
Oh yeah, all right. And you're in dead center too, just like
Yeah.
you should be.
Best Superman film of all time. I'm gonna say right now.
He's gonna
If
say
you
it.
say
He's
which
gonna
one
say
it
it. So ugly.
It's Superman, the original.
Yes.
But I'm gonna
Okay,
tell
so
you what.
beautiful.
I do like Man of Steel a lot, but I'll say
Would you put it as your number 2?
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, thank
See,
God.
The reason why I
original
think-
Superman is my number 2.
The reason I think
yeah.
that Man of Steel is so highly ranked, though, is because it's the most complex story told ever with a Superman character. And I think that
Well, I mean, I think you should give Smallville some credit.
well, that's
Yeah,
not,
but that's not a
not
movie.
in the movie.
That's
Right, but you're talking about Superman's story.
The whole story about Superman is it's a man that can literally tear metal like paper. He walks in a world of paper, right? So I think that the most important thing that they portrayed in that movie was the characterization of Clark Kent, which you needed to do first, and then get to Superman.
Yeah,
And
we
I
didn't
think
get
they executed that.
we didn't get enough Clark and Man of Steel.
I think that the whole movie, but that's the difference. Here's the thing. He's Clark in the whole movie. He's Clark all throughout Man of Steel. He's Clark throughout all of Batman vs Superman. The only time he actually becomes Superman is after he dies. That's the way I kind of look at this DCEU thing, and I'm okay with that. But I think Man of Steel is a complex story that's told well, and I think it's shot brilliantly. However, I think Zack Snyder's the wrong guy to have directed and helmed.
I think
the whole
I
universe.
like
No,
Zack
I agree.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder would have been a great cinematographer, but not a great director.
I
So,
feel
wait,
like
wait, so question. So, because I think we're pretty much in agreement, except for maybe Josh, that Zack Snyder was probably not the guy that helmed the DC Cinematic Universe. If you guys were to choose a director to helm the DC Cinematic Universe, who do you think would be a good director?
Patty
to do it?
Jenkins.
J.J.
Brad Bird.
Abrams.
Why? No.
J.J. Abrams can't finish what he started though.
doesn't need
Patty
to.
Jenkins.
Okay, why?
Because I feel that what she did with Wonder Woman is that it didn't become like yes, it's a female superhero movie and stuff, but it still feels so neutral in many ways. I feel like if she was the director of like the whole DCU, like it would. There's a good balance of everything. There is enough optimism. There is still grittiness because I like these gritty DC movies, and I feel it's it's a well superhero story, and also but also with real messages, and I think she would be great to lead the DCU if she could be in that position.
Is that what you think?
Yes.
Doesn't matter what you think.
No, that's how it was. Tatiana think, and I just stole her thoughts.
You stole her thought. How you dare
You stole my thoughts? I actually would steal Taika Waititi from Marvel.
For
go
Superman?
back in time.
No,
for
the
DCU. For DCU in
No,
general.
fuck no. I think that's a terrible idea.
Well, fine.
I think it'd be great.
Why?
I think
Why do you think so?
I think
What?
Taika Waititi would have been a great choice for Shazam.
No,
Yes, he would be a great
Justice
choice
League
for Shazam.
Dark.
I don't think Taika Waititi's a dude that you want to put in charge of facilitating a whole universe.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a
Justice
bad
League Dark
idea.
should have been Guillermo.
Me personally, if I was gonna
Yeah,
put anybody,
if I could, I would.
if I was gonna put anybody in charge of the whole universe, it would have been J.J. Abrams, and I'll tell you
J.J.
why.
Why J.J. Abrams?
Because I'll tell you why. At the time when Avengers started taking shape, they had the geek god, which was Joss Whedon.
Yep.
Who was the other geek god that they could have competed with that? J.J. Abrams.
Yep.
And mainly because J.J. Abrams is very good at serialized storytelling due to Felicity,
Yeah.
Yep.
Alias,
Yep.
and all these other things that he did.
He was
But Lost he didn't really do.
I know, it was David Lindelof. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
But he set the template
Yeah,
for it,
right.
right?
So he's good at setting a
He
template,
knows
that's true.
exactly what to do and how to do it. He knows how to execute a universe.
But I have another choice though.
Now, you already gave your choice.
But
You literally just gave your choice.
You did.
But if I can have Patty Jenkins.
If I can't have Patty Jenkins and I want
Kevin
Martin Scorsese,
Feige.
it doesn't
There
work.
you go. No.
Who's your other choice?
Kevin Smith.
Okay.
Kevin
Because,
Smith?
because listen.
Nope.
Maybe not direct.
Nope.
No, but I know, but like, I would love for him to be like the Kevin Feige of these TV.
No, I think that's a terrible idea.
No, but like for me, I've seen his Supergirl Flash episode, and I've seen how he views the DC universe. And I think like maybe he shouldn't maybe he won't direct a DC movie, but I think he would be a great producer, like someone to oversee the DC, because he has the filmmaking experience, but he also has what we need from the pages of comics.
I like Kevin Smith, but he is not the right choice. for this.
Right.
Kevin, I'm on your
Yeah.
team. I'm
Wait,
team...
wait. So, Josh, you said Brad Bird.
Brad Bird.
I actually like that idea.
Sorry, who?
Brad Bird
Oh,
is
okay.
very close to J.J. Abrams in the
But
way
he's worked
he,
on so much.
he directs
But he just
and
does
his style.
animation. That's the problem.
Did you
He
see
Mission
Mission
Impossible.
Impossible Ghost Protocol?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
It's amazing. No, that was JJ.
That was JJ.
Yeah, Ghost Protocol was
Yeah.
it,
I think Brad Bird has the capability to do live action, and I mean, if you've seen The Incredibles, you know what he's capable
Oh, I
of
love
doing
The Incredibles.
Right.
with
I
a
saw the
superhero
Iron Giant the other day,
story.
and I'm like,
the Iron Giant is
but the
amazing.
problem is that I want someone who has made a lot.
Tomorrowland, though, Josh.
Tomorrowland.
He did Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland wasn't a bad movie though.
Actually, I've heard that from a lot of people. I heard
It
Tomorrow was
wasn't.
actually
It
really
wasn't
good.
a good movie, but it wasn't a bad movie either. It was bad marketing, and I mean there were
Which was
definitely
also a
side
J.J.
issues with it.
Abrams thing, actually.
Yeah.
It was Brad Bird and J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
But I think, like, ideally, if the two of them work together, I think they could like completely make the DCEU
Yeah.
a viable thing.
Tatiana?
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with that. I think
Brad
that's a good
Bird.
choice.
That was your choice.
No, that's not my choice,
Quentin
obviously.
Tarantino. Obviously, is your choice.
But I will say this. I will say this though. I think that with Walter
What is your
Hamada,
choice?
like
Go
a
ahead,
lead in
go ahead.
DCU, I think, given what I've seen, also maybe what I've heard, I think we're getting on a good path. I think he knows what's up.
Who knows
we'll
what's up?
see.
Who knows what's up?
Walter
Walter-
Hamada.
Okay.
So who's your choice?
I think,
She hasn't said yet.
No, I mean,
Greg
I had
Berlanti.
said one, and then you said it was terrible.
No, I said it.
But I
What'd you say?
agree with
What'd
that
you say?
choice. No, I said Taika Waititi, and then you
Okay.
said no, you are the worst.
I thought that was a
and
joking
now I'm
answer.
saying,
I didn't
why
know it
would
was
that be a
real.
joking answer?
Now you're
Oh
saying
my
who?
God.
Because it's Taika
No.
Waititi.
Who
Because I
wait, who are you
I
agreeing
think
with?
that he has awesome ideas, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
He does. but
I
not for the
agree
whole
with Brad
universe.
Bird and J.J. Abrams, just because of like being like sort of like the watchmaker idea, right? Like he is good at setting a tone in a universe, and then someone else is gonna have to take it over because he's not gonna stick around.
Right, but
But
they
it's
would
so
also
that-
they would be good for overseeing it and
Yeah.
giving people direction. Like I think the two of them would be really good in that Kevin Feige role of not necessarily being hands on
Yes, the
every
Kevin
day,
Feige role, exactly.
but being
Mhm.
like,
I
okay,
was-
no, what
yeah.
you guys are doing isn't the best.
Like
let's,
if
let's
we could
do
just get
this.
Kevin Feige, if we could just clone Kevin Feige and
Yeah.
then do him
But
for
see,
DC,
here's the thing, we
that
have
would
a
be
Kevin Feige for DC, but
No,
he's
we
on-
don't.
we-
What?
If you
Okay.
say Jeff Johns, I'm
No, no,
literally
no,
gonna
no,
slap
no,
the
no,
shit off your face.
No, not
Don't mess with him, Joe. Don't mess with him. He gave you the look, Joe. Leave him alone, Joe.
Okay.
That's the look up that says I'm not to be fucked with.
Greg Berlanti. Okay, listen. Greg Berlanti. I think that because
Have you seen Green Lantern?
Oh God!
No, here's the
Like,
thing.
that wasn't
That-
his
that
fault.
wasn't
That
his
wasn't
fault.
his fault.
Because
That's
I-
Jeff Johns.
no, that
It's
was
both of them.
that was Martin Campbell.
No, 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 no.
No, because I read the original script of Green Lantern, and that was so fucking good.
The executive producer that made the decisions on that film, though, was Jeff
Johns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either
And I
way,
think that, like-
okay, here's the thing. Greg Berlanti, despite what people might say about his TV shows, for the flaws that it has, because he's on the CW, so he has to hold a certain standards.
Like Arrow.
Oh god.
But Supergirl
well,
was on
even
CBS.
even Arrow season
Right, but
1.
yeah, but
people,
Supergirl was actually
no,
like,
it
it
was
didn't
good.
feel like a CW
Right.
show.
So,
In
It
CBS.
felt like a CW show.
And
on
for me,
CBS.
I would.
He
Great.
produced Pan. He produced Pan.
like
You wanna?
Oh.
I didn't hear
Okay.
that. He
Okay.
produced what?
Pan. Oh Jesus.
Alright.
Greg Berlanti produced Pan.
Pan.
Produced Pan.
Wait, can I give mine now?
Who was
Yeah.
yours?
Yeah.
Okay, so
If you say fucking Ryan Coogler,
so 3 things. Okay.
What's wrong with
So
Ryan Coogler?
he's directed 3 movies in his whole life.
okay.
Great movie.
Yeah, and one
Alright,
of them
so-
is pulling
Anyway.
3 things. So
$1
one,
billion.
Ryan fucking Cook. No. So here's the thing though. So real talk though. First, I agree with Joe. J.J. Abrams is amazing. I think we do the best job, and here are the reasons why. The man, before he directs something, he goes and understands the genre first he's working with, and he makes it like flourish.
Ryan
Like he
Johnson.
did that one with Star Trek, and he appeased like a lot of people right there. He did it again with
Kathleen
Super 8.
Kennedy.
With Super 8, he was like, "I'm gonna go make a Steven Spielberg film," and that's what the fuck he did. And then he went and did with the first Star Wars. So I think if he got the DC universe, he would like tear it apart, look at the pieces of it, and put
Yeah.
it back together,
And make a
would
DC
understand
film.
it. 2, your Kevin Smith point. Here's the thing that I think DC missed out on. They need like a brain trust or something like that, of people to be like consultants or whatnot. I think Kevin
like
Smith
that.
would do a good
That
job
would
of
actually,
that.
I would actually like that too.
Yeah, because I think he's a big fanboy and he understands these characters. Not only that, though, but he wrote Green Arrow and he wrote a couple other things. So I think he's got like an inside hand
Quiver
right
is
there.
so good.
And then third thing, this one's the gamble. But I think the man deserves a chance because low key though, he's gotten kind of lost in the shuffle. I would want to give Jon Favreau a chance to direct something because he did direct that first Iron Man, did a great job of it. And the thing about it is though, I kind of feel like people kind of slept on him. I think he needs to get a shot at another superhero.
He's doing these Disney live action movies now though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Lion King is his. He did the Jungle Book.
Yeah, but it was
So, like,
but
he's
that's
kind
happening
of
now.
moved on.
Yeah, okay. But I would like to see him like give him another shot. At
I
superhero.
don't
but we're not-
disagree. I
yeah.
just don't. I don't think he's
He's interested in it,
Yeah, I don't
probably.
think he's
He's-
interested in it anymore.
I don't know about that.
I think Kathleen Kennedy would be a great choice to lead the DCU.
Well, we
No,
do.
I'm
There
kidding.
should be
I'm
a woman
kidding.
in there
Wait,
somewhere.
whoa.
Not that woman.
Why do you
but
think
a
Kathleen
woman.
Kennedy's a bad choice?
Because she just hires wide male directors.
Damn.
All right,
Truth
do me,
bombs.
do me, do me,
Am I wrong?
do me a
Am
favor.
I wrong?
Since you're outspoken about this, name me 5 people that aren't white that are directors.
Wait, what?
Name me 5 people that aren't white male directors. Go ahead, I'll wait.
Really?
Taika
Can you?
Waititi,
Yeah,
Justin,
You can't do it.
Justin Lin.
Justin Lin. Yeah.
Lin.
What?
Wait, without help.
wasn't
Without
he-
help.
Well, wait,
Let's
now
see
now
that.
Justin Lin and Taika Waititi don't count
What the fuck? How?
because you gave them to him. He has to name 5 others.
For us. They count for us. Okay.
James Wan.
He has to. Yeah.
That was racist.
How was that
I'm
racist?
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
He's
That was the
He's
next
Asian.
one I was
Go
going
ahead,
to
go
give
ahead.
you.
he's Australian.
You got James Wan. That's 1.
Spike Lee.
Okay, now since we're gonna do it this way, name 10.
Oh, come on. Do they have to be film directors?
I mean, hey, because I can name 10 white male directors. So
Okay.
name 10.
Well, yeah, but that's
Yeah,
isn't that the
but
problem
Joe,
though? Isn't
Joe,
that exactly
Armin
the
Joe,
problem?
that's
This is
establishment of.
what
Armin
Exactly.
You just
Kevorkian.
proved the oppression
That's
right there.
exactly
No,
You
no,
just
no,
proved
no,
the
no.
discrimination.
Here's my problem with this, though, is that
Armin
Because
Kevorkian.
it kind of goes into.
whoa. If people are gonna be so outspoken about speaking out about it, who are your backups then? Who would you choose?
But Joe, it's kind of like there are people out
Female
there who got to give them a
directors?
chance. It's kind of what you brought up to me the other day.
If you asked me,
talked about.
listen, if you asked me-
talked to me
if you
about.
didn't have Jimmy
you
Garoppolo
ta-
as your quarterback,
wait,
who's the quarterback
Wait,
you
wait,
want
hold
on the
on a second.
Niners?
You talked to me
I can answer
about.
that.
You talked to me about like how hashtag is so diverse. So if we ask somebody to name like 5 characters, 5 people of color on hashtag show, we can name it off easily.
Sure.
Because we put the people in those situations.
Right.
You gave people opportunity to succeed. The studios need to give people opportunity to succeed.
Right.
Because those people
The
exist,
difference
but they're
is
not given the shots.
People that are outspoken, I've asked one person to name 5 directors. How many people did it take to name just 2, 3? It took 3. So let's.
What are you talking about? He was just doing it. We were just
He
talking
was
about.
just doing it. All right. So, all right, go ahead. Name,
Yeah, but I like to think through. So yeah,
I'll let you think through as we talk the situation.
I can
out. So keep
I
thinking.
can say female directors.
But no,
right?
I definitely agree
Okay,
with you.
so
though.
I'm
That
gonna say
that the issue is
Armin
that
Kevorkian.
they aren't
Okay.
given the
And-
opportunity.
Opportunities, exactly.
Let's see. What was the name of the woman who was supposed to direct Wonder Woman?
already asking questions.
Wait, what do you
No,
mean?
wait,
the
I'm trying
one
to
who
write-
was supposed
she
to
was-
direct Wonder Woman?
Can I just list 5 for
Michelle
you?
something.
Right.
Michelle McLaren. That's her
Yeah,
name?
Michelle McLaren. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he's just not good at naming directors.
Yeah, I
What?
think he just doesn't know
yeah,
directors.
just you know that many
period.
directors.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is this too: is you also got to
Exactly,
take
yeah.
into account box office.
Ava DuVernay.
Ava DuVernay is a great choice,
Ava
but
DuVernay.
she's also doing New Gods. But
Yeah.
like I think
Exactly.
that
the woman who did A Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah.
that's
Wrinkle
what,
in Time.
literally what we just said. Ava DuVernay.
Oh, did you? Oh,
just,
okay, yeah.
just said that. But my whole thing with this is, if you look at
Asante.
look at the box office, and look at what's been the most successful. Yes, they've been given the most chances, but at the same time, let's take somebody like Ava DuVernay for an example. Did Wrinkle in Time crush at the box office?
I don't know how.
We'll see.
Can I actually look that up?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the problem so here's the thing. I hear what you're saying, definitely. And the Wrinkle in Time for me is kind of like this gray area because she opens the movie talking about like I made a movie for kids and this is my intention doing this. So it goes in this realm where it's like, well, fuck, you weren't making the studio picture, you were making like your artsy picture type deal. But a person who kind of like crushes it on a regular basis for me is fucking Justin Lin. Like, they give that dude Fast and Furious franchises.
There's a
they
difference
give him a
there. There's
bunch
a
of
difference
things.
there, and I'll tell you
He
why.
just delivers on a regular basis.
It's easy to deliver on a low budget because it's a high return, especially with Fast and the Furious and horror movies. Listen, it's a proven fact in Hollywood. Straight up, that's a straight up answer.
Well, here's the thing. I totally agree with you. Guys, just correct me if I'm wrong though, because I know like the first 3, but after like the 5 and things like that he was working on, were those $100 million films? Those Fast and Furious?
Those were $100 million films, but the
Yeah.
budget also increased with it. So let's.
That's
take
what I'm
that into
saying. Yeah, he was.
consideration.
Yeah, okay.
However, but if you actually look at the films that he did, and look at the movies that he did, it's not like it was like, hey, we give you $1 million, you turn it into $1 billion. That's not what happened. He turned a small movie into a better movie. I agree with that to an extent, but horror movies, just in general, because I'll tell you right now, honestly, the last Purge movie did great.
Yeah,
Do you know who
course.
directed that? Neither do I.
I didn't
But
go
that's
see
my
it.
whole point. Is that because that's an easy turnaround because those movies are so cheap to make. Justin Lin came up. I agree. He came up that way in making those kind of movies.
Joe, here's the thing. I think we're getting confused with the guy who does like the what's the name of those movies? The ones about the horror movies with the guy in the closet, shit like that.
Yeah.
I think we're confused with the other Asian director because I don't think Justin Lin does horror movies.
Justin Lin.
Yeah, because he
James
does.
Bond.
He
Are
does.
you talking
James
James
Bond.
Bond?
Yeah,
James
James
Bond.
Bond.
Justin Lin does Fast and Furious.
Fast and the Furious movies.
Racist.
Justin Lin
Yeah,
also did the
yeah.
last Star Trek.
Yeah, because Justin Lin did Beyond, he did
Am
Fast
I
and Furious
too close
6,
to the microphone, my
5,
Gami?
he did Annapolis.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, he was the one who did Better Luck Tomorrow.
But regardless
Hollywood
of
Adventures.
I mean, that's
How low
even
it go.
a better.
He's
point.
doing my biopic.
Regardless of that, even with Justin Lin doing that, he still had a smaller budget that made more money. I mean, that's a fact. He did. He had a smaller budget that made more money. It's not like in a lot of those earlier films, he wasn't killing it at the box office.
But here's the thing, you know more about film than I do, because I don't come from the film world. But isn't that how directors come up? They give you small budget films, and you just like work your way up to the bigger budget things.
Yeah.
So you prove yourself, right?
Yeah.
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 But that's happened with. I mean, I know this is the unpopular opinion, but that's also happened with white directors too.
I mean, isn't
Sure.
that everybody's journey?
Yeah, but that's what should happen with everyone.
Sure, it should happen with
Yeah.
everybody.
Because
But it doesn't happen.
Exactly.
Right.
Because think about this though,
That's-
because
that's the point.
because as I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about like the guys who made back in the day who made like Don't Be a Menace, like a Menace to Society.
I find it
Wayne,
really
who made
interesting.
like
I find
Judas
it-
and things like that.
I find
Huh?
it really interesting.
Keenan Ivory Wayans.
Yeah.
No, Menace to Society. Oh yeah, Keenan
was
Ivory.
Keenan Ivory Wayans.
Yeah,
But I
I'm
find
just-
it interesting.
Oh
that-
yeah, I know. I'm saying Menace to Society. I'm thinking about those movies that got made back in the day by like these black directors who made successful films.
Yeah.
But then
he's a great example of a guy who started with small movies and built it.
I mean,
exactly.
there's-
Some of those
Ryan
other guys,
Coogler
they didn't
did
build up like
Fruitvale
that.
Station, right?
I mean, listen.
Yeah, he did.
So like watching Fruitvale Station, I wouldn't have imagined like this person should do Black Panther,
Yeah.
you know. And yet here we go.
That's
you
a
know,
difference.
it's like-
That's a difference with Marvel, though. I don't think that's necessarily a difference in anything else. But,
Well, they also gave him Creed too, though.
yeah.
I mean,
great.
but let's be honest. So if you're going to tell me that Peyton Reed, the guy that directed Bring It On, was going to be the guy that was going to make a big budget thing with Ant-Man, that you would have made that choice?
Well,
'Cause
exactly. That's the thing. Like,
But
it's
that's a studio thing because Alan Taylor said himself after he directed Thor: Dark World that was not my movie. That was a studio cut movie by Marvel. Patty Jenkins was originally going to direct that movie, and that didn't happen.
Right.
So we all have to understand that, like, with the way that Marvel runs, it runs very tight, and it runs as a studio instead of a director thing.
That's fine. We can take Marvel to the
Good?
table though.
No, I-
yeah,
Because-
like it's like
yeah,
Creed too.
yeah,
Like
I
you
was
said,
about to
going
say
from
that.
Fruitvale Station
No,
to
I don't
Creed.
wanna
Yeah,
say-
because Joe, again,
You know?
we take Marvel to the table because again, he went from Fruitvale Station to Creed, and the Creed's a big fucking deal because he got to be part of the Rocky franchise, and
Yeah.
that was interested to him.
So but I don't understand the praise though, because at the same time, I can say Peyton Reed did Bring It On, then Ant-Man, and then Ant-Man 2.
Wait, but you're saying that those are Marvel studio cuts, and that's
Yeah.
not
So is
really...
Black Panther. That's
I
not
love
Right,
much of a
but you're
difference.
talking about Creed right now. He's saying like,
Sure.
Man of Steel and that
Yeah.
DC.
Yeah, it's not
and
the
that was
cost
it.
of it. It's the
Welcome
fact he
to
was
Hashtag.
entrusted with that
Yeah, I
franchise.
know,
But
He was
that's the
restarring,
point I'm trying to
an
make,
iconic
though.
franchise he was trusted with and everything like that. Kind of like what J.J. Abrams was giving. Well, Star Trek had a
Okay,
much
John
bigger
Waters.
budget,
John
but
Waters
he was
made
trusted with
Spider-Man:
that.
Homecoming. Name me John Waters movies.
Pink Flamingos.
Hairspray.
John Waters did not
No,
do
it wasn't
Hairspray.
Hairspray?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know. he didn't know.
John Waters did Hairspray.
See the
Did
Thank
he?
you.
The original.
Yeah.
Oh, see, the
Of
problem
course,
is
the
though that
original, yeah,
like,
the original.
yeah, and the problem that is though that like I said, I don't come from the film world. I'm not a film person.
That's my
So
point.
if you ask me to name like, so even if there's a director who I know I like, I can probably name like all their movies and stuff off
That's
the top of
what
my head.
Right.
But that's a huge part of my point is that with it's easier to praise Marvel franchise because it's ran by Kevin Feige. Let's be real about it. Listen, if it wasn't ran by Kevin Feige, guess what? If you're telling me we wouldn't have gotten an Edgar Wright Ant-Man, you're fucking crazy.
No, but that's not what we're discussing. We're discussing how we need to give more directors of color opportunities.
I don't disagree with that.
That's what we were talking about originally. But you agree with that?
I agree with that, but at the same time, I wouldn't give a director that doesn't have the clout to do it the job. Straight up.
Yeah, so you just give so you would find a director who's talented enough to do it, but we just give more talented directors of color opportunities.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I feel like we're coming at it from two different places.
If I can add something to this.
Kathleen Kennedy's
What-
decisions.
Hiring all white.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
If I can
wasn't
add
the
something
right thing
too.
or the wrong thing.
Well, so yeah, the wrong thing.
What I was gonna add was the fact that I don't want when these studios
You
are
want Kevin Smith, buddy.
what.
No, go ahead.
I asked him to lead the DC. I didn't say to direct every DC movie.
You said it directly.
so
to DC
late.
movie. You wanted to.
No, I didn't say direct.
Andy, I got your back. I'm gonna say
Yeah,
you
yeah.
consultant. I had you back.
Watch the fucking tape.
Pull the receipts.
They're so savage and Swedish.
I got
They're
my
so savage and Swedish.
Okay.
Someone who comes from a film background, kind of. You gotta if your portfolio doesn't reflect the project that you're being looked at for, then it doesn't matter.
But should it be the portfolio or the pitch that you make?
Portfolio, proving what you've done, working your way up, white, black, whatever. What's in your portfolio that proves that you're asset?
I just think
$150 fucking million investment.
I just think
Fuck
that
you if all you're coming to the table with is your indie film about Persian
if-
people growing up in
If
Sweden.
I could
I don't
reference,
give a fuck. You're not getting Ant-Man.
if I could make a sci-fi reference here, or not really a sci-fi, but just a movie reference, it's a catch-22.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting the people of color that are making the smaller films that are then making bigger films and bigger films and bigger films, so they're not getting the opportunities on these bigger films. So because of that, all these white dudes are getting these opportunities because they're the ones that are making the movies that are becoming popular.
Yeah.
So yeah, they do have to start from the bottom, but they have to be getting those opportunities at the bottom to be able to work their way
Yeah,
up.
so we're
And
positing like
that's
a
the
better
issue.
world where that would happen, so that then they would be able to be in the
but
position
the problem
to get.
is we're not there because
Right.
we just don't have that pool of filmmakers to pull from yet.
And a lot of
And that
times,
wasn't a personal attack. That was just an example.
and that was a lot of times why people say like,
But that
unpaid,
is that is an issue, and it does need to be
addressed.
worked on.
Right.
Because that's what people do recently about how unpaid internships are actually kind of a form of oppression.
Yeah.
Because a lot of
absolutely.
people of color can't
afford them.
They can't afford to be
Yeah.
unpaid for that amount of time and pay for an apartment in LA or New York or anything like that so they can work with studio set. Versus people who like come from like well-to-do families, they can afford it to be like that because their parents are like, I'll pay for your apartment, I'll give you money for food and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, there's just like the system is kind of broken in a way where it elevates those people. It's set up to elevate those people. Sadly, it may not have been done consciously,
Our country
but
is
that's the
kinda
way.
No,
it's
I mean
set
I
up.
agree. Like I never
Yeah.
took an unpaid internship because of that. Like I always had to work on stuff.
No, exactly. Like when I was in college, I grew up in Detroit, but the thing about this was I wanted to work for Marvel.
I'm sorry, that's Detroit though. Detroit's the shit part of the United States.
You 2 weeks
No,
ago
that
you
would-
said Florida.
No,
you can't
no.
keep changing your opinion,
That
Joe.
would
It's
that
because
would
every
be-
part of the United States is the shit part of the United States. There
Sorry,
isn't a part that isn't.
no, that's only New Jersey, the armpit of America.
Thank you.
very much, Jersey.
Thank you. But like I was saying, like I was in Michigan and Detroit, and I
I thought it
wanted
was Washington was the trash shit right now of America because of Donald
All of
Trump,
the
so-
all of the places. All of the places.
pretty much everywhere,
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
except for Canada.
Okay, we
for
have
Joe.
like forest
Can-
fires
Canada's-
and
That
droughts.
is not the United States.
Canada's
Yeah.
not in the United States. Canada's
Canada's all
the
right.
best.
Canada's
It's
doing
our little
fine.
brother. We got you. But
Canadian?
like I want to get an internship with Marvel, but it was an unpaid internship. And the best you got to be able to go to New York, and there's no way you can be in New York and do an unpaid internship if you don't have people giving you money.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you
Well-
can if you're homeless.
So
Yeah, there's that. There's always that.
Yeah, that's how.
Johnny, why do you smell so
Wait.
bad? I live in a trash can. You making comics or not?
Hey man, you gotta save up for a YMCA thing.
when I was originally trying to move out to LA, I wanted to work in video games. This was a long time ago. So I contacted THQ, Midway, Capcom, like all video game companies. I was like, hey, I'm trying to move out to LA. What kind of jobs do you have available for someone in an entry-level position that doesn't have any experience working in the video game industry? And they were like, well, we can give you an unpaid internship. I was like, well, can I afford to live in LA on an unpaid internship? And they were like, no.
Well,
So I was like, well, then I can't come out for that.
You had to
Yeah.
ask that about. I mean, if you haven't.
No, I was being a dick.
right.
But
well,
you know what?
he's-
Good. Because
But you
I
know
was
what
like,
cracks me
he's
up,
making
though?
a point.
There's all these
Yeah.
people who actually live in LA, like kids who are coming and say they want to work in the film industry, and it's like, yeah, well, you actually live here, so you can get unpaid internship, but they don't actually take advantage of opportunity.
Right.
Which I'm like, dude, you live here, you need to be going for that shit.
Right.
Whether it be animation or anything, if you fucking live here, you need to take advantage of that unpaid internship.
I think
As long as your
I
parents
agree
love
with
you.
Ro. That's a millennium thing.
a
That's
millennial thing.
That's
It's a millennial thing for sure. I feel like the generation.
Uh-oh.
I mean,
is this the blaming millennials?
Actually, no,
time?
because you're a millennial.
Yeah,
right?
I'm a millennial.
I mean, I know
Millennial.
I'm on the cusp. Rob's a millennial.
Well, low-key, anybody who's born under 82 is a millennial.
Yeah.
What year?
You're a millennial
88.
for sure.
Let's-
You're a millennial as well.
What was it?
Spoilers.
Exennial?
Millennial, son. That's how we roll.
where I'm
I'm sorry,
Daniel
bro.
is a millennial. So I know that
I don't want to
we're
work
on
for
the
free.
cusp of
That's
that,
what I do.
but I feel like the younger side of that, which I think we can all kind of agree, it is a little lazier.
I still take.
Is that questionable?
I feel like I don't know that it's necessarily lazier. I don't know. I feel like
Less ambitious.
yeah, there's like problem with expectations, and then like I don't know the job market too.
I would also-
I worked 2 jobs full time and intern to get into the other.
Yeah.
I would also say it's a little. I would also say it's a little bit of hubris too, because of like internet and
I
social
also
media
have
and stuff
worked
like
several
that.
jobs.
I feel like everybody feels like I don't need your fucking system.
Uh-huh.
I can go to SoundCloud and go to YouTube and I'll make myself a
But,
success.
but also
Whereas
depends-
like, you know what? Some people can do that. I seen your shit. I don't think you can do that.
Right.
But
You might want to take this
and
job.
then they end up at Sonic's and Arby's, right? Yeah.
But it also depends on what you're doing. Like if you have a legit internship where you're actually learning how to do like filmmaking things on the set,
Right.
That's one thing. I would totally do that unpaid.
Yeah.
If I'm fucking taking out their garbage,
Right, then
and
you're
that's
not gonna
all
do
I'm
anything
doing,
with that.
that's not
Exactly.
teaching. That's not
Yeah.
teaching me anything about it. So
But
That's slavery.
if I'm working on something and I'm making someone else money, I deserve to be getting paid for it.
I will say this though, play devil's advocate though, because again, like I've heard from stories like again, you start with the boxes and shit like that to show we can trust you're responsible, and then they start promoting you up. Like a lot of people who work for like Pixar and everything like that. Like what was the dude? Was it John Lasseter who worked for Pixar who said he started off doing?
Hey,
the
John
Disney-
Lasseter's a fucking.
Yep, that's another problem.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but there's
he
a difference.
started off doing the Jungle Cruise, and then after that he got
But
to
he
the
ended
animation
with
studio.
being.
Yeah, but there's a
Fame
difference
as
between working like
That's
them
what happened.
starting you up being like, okay, this is how a set works. These are the jobs that you have on a set. You know, like you have to do a trash sweep, you have to do this, you have to do this, and you have to do this. Yeah.
I took out trash and fucking picked up food for rappers just so I could sneak into the recording studio at night and learn how to run the mixing.
I also
Yeah,
did that.
and
It
Je-
didn't last very long because I was good at it, and then I moved up.
Yeah, and Jeff
Oh.
Johns did that too though, because I remember Fabian on Batman's
Right,
podcast.
but there's a
he did that for a
difference-
while for what was the news name? Just Dahmer?
Richard Donner.
Richard Dahmer. He worked
Not
for
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh my
Richard
God.
Dahmer.
Donner.
Sorry,
Donner.
Richard Donner.
He said Dahmer.
Like,
Dahmer.
yeah,
He said
like
Dahmer.
the cannibals.
But yeah,
Watch the tapes.
Donner was eating people. But like, no, serious. But like, he worked for him unpaid for a long time, and he described the stories for like 3 months. He was just a gopher, but then after that, he got promoted to like actual responsible shit.
Because that's what happens when you're good at something.
Yeah.
And then you never do it for free.
But Josh, I do feel you though, because at some point you do want to start actually learning the shit and getting paid.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
if they have you getting trash out for a fucking year, it's like motherfucker, really? At that point, you might
exactly.
need to go somewhere
And that's
else.
the point. You know, like I'm not saying that you shouldn't have to do that stuff because you have to do that stuff to learn how things work.
Exactly.
I
it's-
don't
it's
even
the-
know how we got here.
It's the difference
We were
between
talking about the directors and
I think
everything
it's
like
a
that.
just doing that.
Yeah.
I think
It's Kathleen. Who brought up this Kathleen Kennedy?
That was
This,
him.
this
That was
motherfucker.
him.
This did it.
Black Swan.
Well then, you know, it's a good place to wrap then, maybe.
As we went on for an hour and a half about Kathleen Kennedy?
I'm so sorry. I did not know you people were.
You
so
should
strict.
be.
I did not know you.
Why do you
people-
not like Kathleen Kennedy?
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
I think that okay.
Same people.
This
Daniel,
is not the
come,
Star Wars.
hey,
Star
come down
Wars
there,
show or
Jewish
episode.
Daniel.
But
Yeah, you know
as
what?
someone who isn't like,
Tap out.
a, like
It's his turn.
super fan of Star
Tap out.
Wars,
Tap out.
I do feel like they should have had a plan for this trilogy.
Hold on, hold on. She's making a point, you misogynist dickheads. So let's go
I'm
ahead.
telling on all of you. No, I was saying that I do feel like this Star Wars trilogy lacked a plan, like to the point that
I agree with that. I don't disagree with that. I think Kathleen Kennedy lacked a plan. And listen,
Yeah.
to play hot potato with such an important franchise, to be like, hey, JJ, write your version. Okay, you're done. Ryan, what's your
Yeah.
version of his
the
story?
opposite of
Like,
JJ's version.
That was a bad idea.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
However,
No, JJ's back.
with that being said, I think that maybe she did like a plan.
Can I
but
ask a
those
question of you
hold on,
guys?
hold on. But those movies were not bad.
Can I ask a
Anybody
question?
that thinks that those movies were bad? Anyone thinks that The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi are
I
bad movies?
love those.
I
movies.
love Force Awakens.
You didn't like The Last Jedi?
I didn't love Last Jedi. I don't think it's a bad movie. I just didn't. You
I
know, I
think
just know that
Last
personally
Jedi
it's
is
not
my
what I
favorite.
wanted
Let me.
to do.
This is what I tell everybody. It's the
Last
second
Jedi
part
is
of
my
a.
favorite Star Wars movie.
It's the second part of a trilogy. So
Sure.
it's very
Yeah.
hard.
Bye, Felicia.
It's very hard to judge.
But like maybe when the third one comes out,
right there.
I'll feel differently about The Last Jedi for sure. And that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think it's a bad movie.
Go ahead.
So here's the thing, because I was having this great conversation with Ro earlier, and Ro was educating me about television. television. He was telling me that a problem with like some of the standard television, that's like ABC, NBC, 246
Bye,
stuff.
Felicia.
He was saying that they took away power from the creators, and the business people got involved, and that's probably the reason why standard television is like sucking now, because the business people got too involved. But I'm looking at like Kevin Feige. What is Kevin Feige? Is he a creative? Is he a business person? Because it seems like
So
Kevin
Feige came up through
he had
the way
a
of
plan,
Marvel.
and that's
So
why they're
he did have a
successful.
plan, and he's. If anybody knows Kevin Feige, he started off in 2000's X-Men movie. He was a fucking assistant, and then moved up to an associate producer, and then eventually took over Marvel.
Wow.
He is a dude that's always. If you look at Kevin Feige's credits, he has no credits besides superhero films.
That's crazy.
So again, is he creative or is he like
He's a
business
creative.
person,
I think
or
he's a
is he
creative
both?
because
So I think-
he has a story ideas.
I think
Yeah.
yes.
Loved what he
I think exactly. I think what Kevin Feige did is he learned from the Donner, and he did.
Not
He
and the Dahmer.
Laura Schuler Donner. He learned from her, and he learned from what's the dude that did the fucking Avia Rod?
Oh, that.
He learned from the two of them.
Oh, that hack.
He learned from them, and he understood. Okay, this is how they're
I
planning
hate
out their
Avia
universe.
Rod.
This is how I would do a universe, and I think that's what he executed.
So here's my question then,
Right,
to follow
but
that
he
up with.
ruined Spider-Man.
Because the thing about it is, every studio is trying to do the exact same thing. We see Universal doing it, DC, Star Wars. What is it that they're missing that Kevin Feige is able to do?
I don't think they're missing
they're-
anything. I think that what happened is that DC made a huge mistake, and that mistake was not building off of their Christian Bale Dark Knight franchise. If they would have taken Christian Bale's Dark Knight, not even say, hey, forget Christian Bale coming back,
Right.
but if they would have just been like, hey, we're gonna do a spin-off out of that, and that was gonna be Man of Steel.
But see, that's the problem, because in that universe, everything was so realistic and grounded in reality. It's
But
like,
what was so far-fetched out of Man of Steel that wouldn't have fit in that
Yeah.
universe at that point?
Yeah.
he's a fucking alien.
Well,
Who's to
that's-
say? But
exactly.
That's like
Because
anything, though.
Well,
Like,
anytime any
Metahumans-
Superman
Again,
story starts with Superman being the
it
first
has to be an
alien they
origin
know
of
about.
something to spark that.
He's the first superhero.
And
Yeah.
it-
There was a guy that dressed up as a clown.
right.
Right.
And there's a
But-
guy
but-
they
so
got
what you-
they got
Doomsday-
juiced up and
yeah,
became.
Doomsday-
So you would have
That's
Joseph
what I'm saying.
Gordon-Levitt
But for me,
meet
my
Clark
issue is
Kent.
that if there are no metahumans,
I would have
nor
had. I don't know if I
aliens
would have had
in
Joseph
the
Gordon-Levitt
Nolan
be Clark
universe,
Kent.
Andy,
how-
Daniel. Only one person at a time. The mics can't pick it up.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
don't know if I would have had Joseph Gordon-Levitt meet Clark Kent. I definitely though would have done something because people would have wanted Christian Bale back eventually. So maybe you do have Joseph Gordon-Levitt meet Clark Kent and have him die and take that Jason Todd role, but as a Batman, and then have Christian Bale come back. Because Christian Bale even said when they asked Ben Affleck for the role, they didn't offer it to Christian Bale, and he was a little sad about it. I think Christian would have done it, and I also think if that would have happened, DC would have been so much better for it.
It would have been a
'Cause
smoother transition.
they had two chances to do a cinematic universe. One was when they had Batman Begins and Superman Returns running. And the other one was when they had The Dark Knight Returns and Man of Steel running. They missed the opportunity twice. So, and I think that was the biggest mistake that they did.
Yeah.
So this one's a more difficult question though, because we talk about this one, but the Universal, the monster movie universe they tried to build
Oh,
with the Mummy.
man.
How the hell do you start
That
that
was so
off?
disappointing.
Because again,
You
they tried to start with
don't.
Tom Cruise, but
You
how do
say you say go back and watch the
I really wanted to see
1939
it, but-
Frankenstein movie and do all those movies and
You can't start saying like I'm gonna make a universe now. Please love my universe.
So what do you have to
You
do?
don't even have anything.
So what do? You make just a good movie. If the movie does well, it's like okay, now let's build.
I mean, and it's crazy that that's an interesting actual comment that you made, just because Sixth Sense has been over for such a long time, but they're getting their franchise 20 years later?
Oh, you mean Unbreakable, right?
Well, Unbreakable,
Yeah.
Unbreakable, but isn't that the same universe like Sixth Sense? No, sorry, Unbreakable, Glass, and whatever the fuck the
What's
other
the name
movie
of the
was.
beast?
Unbreakable, Split, and then
Split,
Glass. Yeah.
okay.
Oh, and Glass is going to be at Comic-Con apparently.
Yeah. So, there's that. There's also the Fast franchise.
Yeah, and that wasn't originally. Was that planned as a franchise when it started?
Yeah,
Fast and Furious got you.
I mean, probably not, but it definitely.
Yeah, but it
It just
became,
grew.
yeah.
Because it was Tokyo Drift. Because they made
Right.
Tokyo Drift, and literally when they did the end credit scene, they saw a test with the audience.
Yeah, it was
How
2
people
back
went-
2C.
Yeah, people were crazy for Vin Diesel. They were like, "Fuck, we can make some more."
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
how you
I mean
have to
that's
do
a,
it,
that's
you
a
know?
huge
You
mistake.
just
You
make a
come up,
good
you
movie.
you have an idea. It's good.
You
It
okay?
is executed well,
I'm
And
getting
then
it.
you
and
build
then you
from
keep
there.
going. Yeah,
That makes
exactly.
sense. Because that was the problem with the Mummy, because they tried to
I'm
put
gonna
all those
die.
people in there, and they're trying to start the universe in one movie.
You're
where it's
doing too
like,
much.
just tell the story.
Yeah.
Tell one
That's
really
like
good
what they
story.
did. I thought Universal started with trying to start with
That's
Dracula,
small from
with the
Tom.
one where they had what's
Again,
his
you're not
name,
buying
Dracula Story
What?
Unleashed or
I can't
Untold
buy
or
it. You
something.
left.
He can ring you up.
What?
So I mean that as far as movie franchises go, obviously Marvel's rocking it, and I think that.
Mission Impossible.
But I think DC.
I honestly do think Mission Impossible is the best action franchise going today.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
It is. I've been saying this.
100%.
You guys know what it is.
Daniel's been preaching it, but I actually believe it. Like, no bullshit. No, 22 years.
Let's go.
But no joke. Listen,
The only bad one was 2.
I wouldn't even say it's bad. It's great. It's great for its time.
Yeah.
It just doesn't age well.
Right.
But if you actually look at all of those movies, there's the first one's the worst one. That's saying something.
Yeah, it is
that
bad.
They all got progressively
and
better.
the thing is, the worst one was directed by Brian De Palma.
Brian De Palma's not a great director, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
but at that time, though, it was still like, oh my god.
I agree
we're
with
on
what
that
he's saying,
stage.
though. If that's your starting point, every single one of those movies got better. Not only did they get better, but they also morphed the genre cinematically. So if you watch the J.J. Abrams style, or sorry, John Woo from the or even Brian De Palma, and then John Woo from the second one to J.J. Abrams in the third one, and then after that, Brad Bird fucking knocked it out of the park. Then you get Chris McHugh, and then Chris McHugh again. I will promise you that this last Mission Impossible Fallout's the best one that's ever come out. It's very good.
And it's the first one where Tom said
It's
okay
really good.
with having
That's
a
right, 'cause
repeat
it's side.
director.
Yeah.
It's the first one Tom said okay for having a repeat director. Because Tom
tried to bring him on, and then Christopher McQuarrie said, "I'll only come on if I can. I'll tie it to the other ones, but I want it to be completely different." Dude, when you watch that movie, the complexities that go through it, because Angela Bassett is great. In
I
that.
love her so
So
much.
wait, answer me this though.
Well,
This thing,
well,
you
she's great in
got me
anything.
interested.
Yeah.
Because so I watched these and I tried to watch the first one. I fell asleep on it. I never been able to go
Dude,
back.
just watch Rogue Nation. Rogue Nation and this one, you're set.
So
Which
again,
one's
so
Rogue
if I
Nation?
watch
It's
Rogue
the last
Nation,
one.
if I watch Rogue Nation, I can watch this,
You
understand what's
don't
going
need
on.
you don't need all that. All you need is Rogue Nation and this one.
Okay. Because you know what's interesting though, because again, I've never seen, so I don't have a fight, a horse in this fight or whatever. But the only other franchise that sounds very similar to this, that's just as successful, is the Fast franchise. Where the first one, some people argue, well, the second one.
The only difference,
but it did grow.
The only difference with that franchise is that those movies I don't think are necessarily getting better, whereas every single one of these movies are. And I think that
They drew the car out of building into another building.
yeah, well,
They also dragged the safe down the streets of Brazil, man.
Exactly.
No.
but those
Joe,
are
what are you saying, family?
those are
Family, Joseph.
I'm not drinking Corona
You
either.
can't be doing this.
I'm doing it wrong.
I think the biggest problem with those movies is when it becomes a joke of they're gonna do the next one in space. That's a problem. Whereas the Mission Impossible franchise, it keeps it fairly grounded, and the story is very good. And man, like I said before, Alec Baldwin, Tom Cruise, Henry Cavill, like all of these actors, Simon Pegg, all of these actors.
Simon Pegg.
Yeah.
That's
All
sold.
Ving Rhames.
That's of course.
But
Ving
and you know what?
Rhames, of
And,
course.
Angela
shout out
Bassett,
to
again.
Ving Rhames because Ving Rhames has been since the first Mission Impossible.
He's the only recurring character besides Ethan.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a true story. But it's such a. I think the franchise. And again, Tom Cruise is 56 years old and is probably in better shape than any one of us on
Is he
this.
really
Yes.
56 years
Yes.
And it puts us
old?
on.
Holy shit.
You're not in better
Go
shape.
on,
So
wait,
there's
time
no.
out,
You're not
time
in better
out,
shape.
time out. I
than
just
me.
realized, you said you want to do a hashtag Olympics someday? We should just call it the Tom Cruise Challenge.
Tom-
And
what-
see if we can do the stuff that Tom Cruise does.
Yeah. If we
I
can.
think the aliens
cow
keep him young.
challenge.
Do I think the aliens keep him young? I think Tom Cruise looking into your eyes and stealing your soul keeps him young.
Bourne franchise.
Yeah, 100%.
I really like Bourne.
No, Bourne's good, but if you
Bourne's
watch,
Did you see the last one?
I think it's more the story. If you watch the complexity of what these stories are telling now, different. It's a different thing. Like
I haven't seen the last two missions, so.
watch Rogue Nation and then watch Fallout because Fallout to me, fuck. I remember I was just watching and Daniel knows this. I was making fun of Mission Impossible.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I watched that movie
Yeah, the whole lot
and I was
more.
like, holy shit, this is really from the beginning to the end. I was like, my god. There's a point in there where you think it's the end of the movie in the middle, and it's like, oh my god, this is
Okay.
pretty legit.
Okay.
The first three.
It's
Okay.
very, very, very good.
All right. Well, now I'm gonna watch this movie. And I
Fallout.
was- yeah,
If
Fallout.
you don't like it, then
I'm gonna-
Paramount, they paid for my trip out there. So I'm just saying. Anyway, we should wrap up because we were on
Yes.
for a long time. I'm gonna take the phone. I'm gonna text some people.
No, you're gonna text my people.
Umberto Gonzalez is dropping a big scoop tomorrow.
Okay,
Oh.
I heard he got scooped though, and you're happy about it.
Oh.
I just wanted to say that.
cool.
Oh boy.
It's okay, man. Umberto, listen, he's an asshole sometimes,
Wow.
but he's a nice guy sometimes too.
More people I don't know.
That's true. He's like, what
I
are
have
you
no
doing?
comments.
All right, guys, we're gonna get off on this. Where can everyone find you on social media? I'm gonna start with Daniel. Now I'm gonna start with Johnny. Now let's go with Daniel.
You can find me on Instagram, Battlestar Galactica.
I knew it.
I knew it. Johnny.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at JohnnyP313. And I also set up my Gumroad store, so you can buy my comics there. Or if you're in San Diego, stop by Small Press Table N14. I'm right by the Peanuts booth. Come on by.
Andy.
What do I do?
Your social media.
All right. Sorry, I'm fading.
You have the hairiest arms I think I've ever seen.
Ow! What the?
Very sensitive arms too. I think y'all could compete in a hair-a-thon.
Yeah.
We could be brothers. We could be twins.
I have pretty hairy arms too. Now I'm looking at it.
Yeah. How special. Anyway, people can follow me on social media at Andy Back. I do the Flash podcast.
On what?
At Andy Back.
I spell your last name because nobody's gonna get that. I just
B-E-H.
figured that.
That was a lot of spell. B-E-H-B-K-H-C. The back means
Wait,
happy.
I've already
again,
forgotten.
'cause you have to use American letters.
B-E-H-B-A-K-H-T.
All right, all right.
I do the Flash.
Tatiana, where can we find you?
You can find me at
East Coast, I can't
Marcella's
say it,
Ear, which is like Marcella Baratheon from Game of Thrones,
Oh, that's
Song of Ice and Fire.
That's the worst house.
Okay.
We'll talk about this off air.
Okay, well she's really a Lannister, so it's okay.
I'm gonna let.
Marcella.
Marcella, M-Y-R-C-E-L-L-A, because in A Song of Ice and Fire,
Don't tell me. We'll just talk explain it off
her
air.
ear sliced off. Anyway, or Valerie M. Perez on Tumblr.
Why? Okay.
That's Bart's girlfriend in The Flash. In the
Bart
comics.
Allen.
Bart Allen, his girlfriend Valerie Perez. It's the only Latina character in The Flash.
You can find.
so-
You're not gonna be able to find me.
Wait,
I don't want you
wait,
to find me.
wait.
The show.
There's still a Tumblr?
You can follow me
There
at
is
the
a Tumblr,
hashtag
and
show.
it's wonderful.
Follow
God,
me at that
all the
hashtag
gifts.
Joe. That's gonna do it. We're gonna see you in San Diego Comic Con, and if we don't see you there, oh well, you didn't make it. That means you're not cool enough to get a badge. But that's gonna do it for us, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I am Joe with that hashtag show. Thank you for watching.
Geek
Pop culture
Hash-
renegades.
that
Ron
hash-
Different.
Pop culture.
Show.com.
Pop culture.